NVO stock is up 9.5% in the after hours. There's no way. I can't believe it. There has to be a glitch in the system. There has to be something wrong because the stock has been going straight down for the last 12, 13, 14 months. It's been really, really bad for shareholders. But we finally have some good news about NVO, and the FDA has approved the first oral GLP-1 pill for weight management in the United States, with trial data showing 16.6% weight loss with adherence. The company expects a US launch in early 2026, mainly in January. That's going to be a game changer for NVO because a lot of people have skipped the injectable as they are scared from needles, and oral GLP-1 doesn't require needles. You could just take the pill in the morning, and it expands the TAM in a major way. So that's massive news for the company, and that's why the stock is up so far 9.5%. If you know NVO, it could change within 2 seconds, could be down 2-3%, you never know. But so far so good. Now NVO hasn't released the price of the pill yet, but it's expected to be cheaper than the weekly injections, which again is another advantage as it's going to expand the TAM and more people will be able to afford it. Now, NVO did reach a deal with the Trump administration to sell the lowest dose of the pill for $149 a month for people who pay out of pocket in exchange for a tariff relief. Now, the pill has multiple doses. You start as a lower dose, and then the dose increases when you build tolerance in your body. So the lowest dose is going to start at $149 a month for people that pay out of pocket. I think this is very, very cheap, but I'm not sure the other doses, how much they would be. But, so far, so good. It looks really good for the company. Now, the biggest challenge to NVO is mainly the whole thing with adherence, as the pill must be taken first thing in the morning on an empty stomach with no more than 4 ounces of water. So that might be a little bit restrictive to some people. And the ones who didn't stick to the strict schedule have lost 13.6% of their body weight versus 16.6%. Now, the biggest problem of it all, that NVO is not alone. Eli Lilly is also coming up with a pill. It's expected to be approved in May, June of 2026. So NVO does have a first mover advantage, about 5 to 6 months. Now, the biggest difference is that Eli Lilly's pill is not peptide medication. That means it's absorbed more easily by the body and does not require dietary restrictions like the oral GLP-1 from NVO. And that's a huge difference between the Eli Lilly pill and the NVO pill. But NVO does have a first mover advantage, and once people start taking the lower dose, they will likely continue taking the NVO pills. They're not going to transition to Eli Lilly's pill. So again, they have a first mover advantage, and it's a 6 months lead, I believe, and that's going to be huge in terms of their competitive advantage, at least in the beginning, against Eli Lilly. Now, Goldman Sachs expects the pills-related market to capture a 24% market share, and they expect Eli Lilly's pill to have a 60% market share and NVO's pill to have about a 21% market share. That might sound bad in the beginning, but I think a 21% market share is not bad at all, especially as the business of NVO is very diversified. It's not just about obesity care. They're also in diabetes, and they're also in many different industries. Now, they have been declining in market share versus Eli Lilly. They're still number one, but they've been declining in obesity care. They've been declining in diabetes care, but they're still number one. And I think that oral pill is going to likely give them an advantage, and it's going to give them a chance for them to start gaining market share again. The company is still an amazing company. They still have the patents in the United States and EU, which is huge as a protection for their, could say, competitive advantage for the next few years. And that patent for Ozempic is not going to expire before 2031, 2032. And it's the same thing for the semaglutide pills, not before 2031 to 2032. Now, if we look at the valuation of NVO, it's trading at 12 times earnings. 12 times earnings, guys, is dirt cheap for the company. It was trading at 43, 44 times earnings not long ago, and now it's trading at 12 times earnings with such tailwinds coming up from the pill and all the market shares they will be able to take, not taking into consideration if they ever invent something else, because the company is very innovative and they have done really well. I mean, over the last 10, 20 years, they're one of the best performing stocks of all time in terms of the healthcare sector. If you compare it to Pfizer, you could see the major difference. But 12 times earnings is not expensive at all. and the company is expected to be near an inflection point in terms of growth, where they've been downgrading the outlook, and now they're going to downgrade it again, expected to be negative 9% in revenue growth next quarter. But after that, it's going to pick up -2%, growth of 5%, growth of 12%, growth of 20%, in a V-shaped like recovery, and the stock should most likely follow. But you also get a dividend. The dividend is about 4%, and it's well covered because the free cash flow yield is above the dividend yield at 4.5%, and they downgraded the free cash flow yield estimates, but it's still above the dividend yield, which means it's very well covered for now. And NVO has a cash position and many other means to keep the dividend. So I believe the dividend is safe. I think 12 times earnings is undervalued, and I'm very excited to see what happens with the oral GLP-1 pill from NVO. But Eli Lilly still has, you could say, an advantage where it does not require dietary restrictions. But NVO has a 6-month advantage where if you start on a smaller dose at 140 or 150 a month and you progress with the dose, you're highly unlikely to switch back and try the Lilly pill and then switch the dose again. Highly unlikely. So that's going to provide them a sticky revenue, at least for the next 5 to 6 months, and a lot of customers and a lot of reputation where people have tried it, they feel safe with the NVO pill, and why would they go and try something else that like the Eli Lilly pill? So I think that's a big difference, and I'm excited to see what happens. But that was my update on NVO, as a lot of you guys have asked me. It was not financial advice. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I'll talk to you in another video.